so the first step, get my phone out of the water here that just decided to unleash from this monster. So the first step is just going to be to pop these brushes off. Now, I took this whole thing apart at one point, and I thought I was going to have to do that again, but luckily, you know, YouTube's your friend. I just went online and I found out that these were made pretty intelligently, and if you just simply slide a screwdriver behind this and push it forward, you may have to pull this side panel out just a tiny bit to clear. But I'm going to reposition myself so I can see what I'm doing without moving the camera. Now you do, if you're similar to my situation, you do have a lot of brittle plastic, so you do want to be a little bit careful there. But there we go. So that is just all it takes to remove that, and it's going to be the same on the other side. So that is the removal of the brush. All right, now we've flipped it around, so it doesn't even look like I'm going to need the screwdriver. Let's see. This side is a little bit trickier because it does have this little rubber stopper. So let's see if maybe working on this side is a little bit easier. There we go. Just gotta take your time. All right, good. Nothing broke. So now we've got our both brushes out. I'm going to move this out of the way, and we are going to focus on the brushes. Now, you might think that, you see there's a couple screws here. It might be easier if you took these side panels off to get these off. I will tell you that, and again, I don't even remember why I took this off. Maybe I was just investigating to see how this thing was built. But when you take this off, if you take the whole shell out, these belts run around, I think there's two bearings and then the drive motor, and getting that all back together and getting these side panels on is a bit of a hassle. It took me a long time to get it put back together. So I was actually really dreading replacing these because I thought, man, this is going to be a multi-hour project to get both of these things out, replace everything, and then get it put all back together. So super excited to find out that I don't have to take these side panels off to get the brushes out. Okay, so to remove the gray brushes here, all you need to do is pop these little tabs off of the post. So you can see the post is just kind of a cone. So that circle is going over that cone, stretching out, and then coming to rest on the bottom. So it's just a matter, it takes a little bit of work, but you're just going to stretch that tab out and pull it off over the cone. If you were just going to toss these, afterward, you could easily cut all of this stuff off and you'd be fine. Me, I'll probably hang on to these. I don't know why. It's been 10 years. They're not in that bad a shape, but I figured I need to replace the climbing ring, so I might as well replace these gray brushes. That will probably give it a little bit more surface area and contact to contact my pool, so might as well change them. So I'm not going to make you suffer through me removing all of these. I'm going to get these off and we'll replace them with the new ones, and then we'll add the climbing rings. All right, so now before we put in these parts, I just wanted to make sure, now again, I'm gonna link this, but you can see 610164 R2, that's your brush climbing gray. And then your climbing rings, the 4-pack looks to be part number 6101611R4. And again, now this one doesn't have it on the back, but this one here does tell you that it is suitable for those models. And you can see there in that third column at the bottom, it does say Premier, which is the model that I have. So now we'll go ahead and reattach these rings, and then, or the brush, the gray brush, and then we'll put on the climbing rings. All right. Now we are going to attach these. One word of caution from when I was taking off the last ones, I will let you know, wherever you do this, make sure that you have a clean area or someplace that's not going to get damaged by water. These are on there pretty tight, and these little cells in here trap a lot of water, and there was actually a lot of algae in there. And so once you get that last one undone, or actually as they start coming undone, it frees up these cells, and all that water that was trapped in there starts going everywhere. So make sure that you are not going to get yourself in trouble by doing that. So to put these together, again, should be pretty straightforward. All you're doing is lining up the hole here with the little post, and then just pulling this through. So every hole has a post. So we're just going to line those up and then pull them through. So it's just going to take a little bit of time and patience to get these all done, but it's as simple as that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera, and then I'll show you the finished result. All right, I wanted to give you a couple tips as I go through this. So first off, you can see I'm almost done with the first roller. When you get the first little post and tab done, go ahead and slide everything down a bit. You're going to kind of tuck this underneath. It's okay if this gets bent. These tabs get bent in a little bit, but the more of these that you get pressed together, it's going to be harder to move this. And as you can see, if you don't have it slid down, it's going to be too far on this end. So you want to make life easy on yourself in the beginning. So slide this whole thing down a little bit before you get too far, and it makes it difficult. So then when you get to the end and you're getting those last few done, again, it might be easier to go ahead and start tucking this in. I'll just go ahead and do this last post here so you can see what I'm talking about. So we're just going to pull that through, and then we can just tuck all of this underneath here, and then get that last one, this last couple there, and there you go. So now you can see that one is completely done, and once I get this next one finished up, we'll go ahead and put on our climbing rings. Okay, next stage is the addition of the climbing rings. So one of the things that I saw in one of the videos notes that these should be slightly damp. Now you can see these, there's some condensation inside the plastic package, and this is not even a sealed package. So I don't know what's in there. I'm guessing it's probably some, oh, it is sealed, so belay my last. But these should be fairly moist. If they're not, you may want to soak them in some water because you don't want them to be too dry at all, really, because you're stretching this foam and you don't want to rip them. So it should just be a pretty simple matter of sliding these foam rings over everything, and then they're going to just fit in these slots. Now, when I'm done, I'm going to show you the difference kind of between the height of these new gray brushes and the old one, because now that I'm looking at it, you know, I said the old ones weren't worn away that bad, but I'd say that they're probably at least 50%, if not more, gone now that I have these new ones to compare them to. So this can only, obviously a new brush is better than a brush that's 10 years old, but this can only improve the performance of the robot now that it's going to have a lot more brush contact with the surface of the pool. And I have never really had either this pool or my last pool, I have never really had any problems with my unit climbing the walls. I know I've had a few people comment on my video that I made many years ago that their robot wasn't climbing for one reason or another, but I honestly didn't even know that these rings were to help it climb. I just figured it was, you know, a different element or medium for cleaning algae or whatever it was that it was cleaning off of my pool. So I thought that's why these white rings were on there, but apparently, as you can see on the package, they're called climbing rings, and they are to provide the robot with a surface that is more suitable for climbing plaster or gunite. So that's what they're there for. But again, these are not that difficult to put on. They just simply slide over everything. And so there you go. It only takes but a moment to put those new ones on. So let me go grab the other brushes and then I'll show you how worn the old one was. Okay, so here's the old brush, and I grabbed my handy ruler, and it looks like I've got 15 millimeters on that, and these guys are about 19 or 20. So it wasn't 50%, it was probably 25% of the fin was gone, but you can see those fins are barely above these little posts, as opposed to here you can see how much more height. So about 5 millimeters had worn away over the last 10 years. And since I have this here, you can see those pockets and the algae that was inside. So again, that's going to drip when you're done. But now that we've got that, let's get the unit back up here, get these new brushes installed, and we should be good to go. All right, I always like to know what it is that I'm working with. So if you're watching this video before you start this little endeavor, these are the clips that the brushes are going to go into. And this is that little rubber part that is kind of in the way, and I don't know, right or left side. I still don't know if that is just something that's on one side of the machine and I've lost the other two, or if maybe it was never there. Who knows? But anyway, the brushes themselves, it doesn't matter. There is no front, back, right, or left. It's just you're going to need to pop this little part in that channel there, and this does move in and out, so you may have to fuss with the other end to give yourself enough clearance. The first brush you put in should be easier because your tracks are not under tension yet. The second one is going to be a little more difficult. You're probably going to have to get out the screwdriver again to get that popped in. So we're going to turn things around, make sure everything is still in focus, and then attack this project. So we're going to refocus, and then again you're going to want to make sure that I'm going to start on this side because it's, well, no, actually I want to start on this side because of that plaster, that rubber piece being in the way makes it a little bit trickier to get this side in. So that popped right in, no problem. And then this side, I'm just going to pull this out of the way a little bit so that that can go in, and that is now completely reinstalled. I'm going to flip this around. Just have to watch my cord here. Give myself a little bit of room to work. And I will start with this side. So again, I'm going to push this end to pop this out a little bit more. And like I said, this side is going to be a little bit trickier because now you've got the tension of the belts to get it in. And then there's this guy to contend with. So that side is in. I didn't have to use the screwdriver, and this side is popped out pretty well. Pull that out. There we go. That is that. This is back in place. Everything looks good. You can see that it is possible to turn it, and it all seems to be running well. So that is the replacement of the whole brush assembly. So again, like I said, I'm going to link that. Inyo Pools is where I bought those. $59.15 for either the gray brush or the climbing rings, and she should be as good as new. So we're going to put back in the filter, and we'll get this thing back in the pool and let her loose. All right, only a couple last little steps before we get this back in the water, and that is to reattach this. So you should know by now that this is keyed. You can see this started to separate years and years ago, so I just threw some duct tape on there to act as a little bit of a strain relief. But I've never had any issues other than those that I've already mentioned with that, but you'll notice that. So we'll get that connected, and then we're going to do one last little bit of maintenance, and then we're going to throw her back in the water and let her start cleaning the pool. Okay, last little thing we're going to do is I noticed there's a little bit of debris around the top. I don't know if you want to call this a propeller or impeller. I don't know what the correct terminology is for it. Let's see if we can pop this off without breaking anything. Probably should have grabbed a straight screwdriver, so let me go grab a different screwdriver. All right, so I just had to get a little straight screwdriver here and pry up, and we'll get that popped off. Look at the difference in color. It's kind of crazy, but as you can see, it's not uncommon to get you know, gunk here, and if we get that off, then this is going to operate a little bit better. This screws out of my hand. Oh boy, you gotta love this Florida heat. Of course I chose to do this on the day that we have a heat advisory, and it's probably 95 degrees, and the humidity is just way up there. But, so, clean that out. That. Cleaned out, and then this does need to go underneath here first before you pop that in, and then we're gonna slide our spring back there so we get some strain relief. We're gonna throw our couple of Phillips screws back up here, tighten that down. she is ready to rock and roll with her new parts. All right, so let's get her back where she belongs. Like I said, she just stays in the water now. The only time I take it out is to clean it. Otherwise, it's always in the pool. Throw her back in. Hit the start button. And she is back at it. Climbing the walls, doing the things like nobody's business. So, once again, I hope you've enjoyed what I'm doing on the channel. I know for some of you, you're used to more laser-related activities. Don't worry, those will continue. But this was a project that was a long time coming, needed to get done, and I finally got around to making some replacements and repairs on my Maytronics Dolphin Premier, 10 years old, still cleaning. And this is a saltwater pool, by the way. If you want to know a little bit more about that, post a link in the comments. I just replaced my saltwater generator, or at least the cell. I found a really good deal on a T15 cell. So look at that, right up the wall. Maybe if I'm not so crooked, but right up the wall she goes, and she's cleaning the tiles just like it's supposed to do. So you gotta love that. But anyway, if you like what I'm doing, please hit like, hit that subscribe button. Definitely helps me out, and we're just gonna keep on making more videos and learning together. Thanks again. Bye.